Okay, so on my other phone, my new phone, that I don't even really use because they quickly got a hold of it and it just becomes obsolete. But on my new phone, I can't even use the camera. I press on it. Here, I'll show you. I press on it. Okay, that's a clean blanket. Yeah, gross. Really shouldn't have fed you up there. I should have made you come down. I'll show you on my phone here. So here's the option of camera. And if I do that, that's what happens, right? And then if I turn it on, and I will hide the code even though they know it already. If I try to go to camera on the thing, it sends me to modify system settings. If I try to go back, it sends me to this. If I try to go to the apps, I'll press on camera. It'll send me to the camera app. If I press open, it does that and sends me back to modify system settings. So they've made it so I can't use my camera on my new phone to upload videos. And what they've done this morning and what they started doing last night was, so they use up most of the storage, right, on the phone so that I can't take videos. So, but there's still a little bit left. So then what I do is I take videos, and then when it starts to make it unable to, then I erase the videos. So this morning, and actually last night, it started making it so I couldn't erase the videos. So now I can't even delete the videos so I can make room to make more videos. So there you go. I cleanly washed these blankets, went to the laundromat yesterday. And Jack, that's the guy who commented, who I tried to post a comment saying that, this is, people like him, and I don't know him, but I'm just going to say, attitudes like that, where you're going to just disbelieve me and you don't know me, you haven't even come up, you don't know anything about what's going on. I mean, I'm telling you, you don't believe it? That's up to you. But people like that and attitudes like that are the reason why Marilyn Manson was able to, Marilyn Manson, a public figure, dating public figures, dating a woman who was on the Game of Thrones, one of the most popular shows in recent times, while she's on the show, while she's famous, while she's on like this huge and enormously crazy show, she is being abused sexually and tortured by a fucking famous person, and she didn't say shit. So until now, she didn't feel like she could. So this is the problem. You know what I mean? And he tortured like I'm being tortured. He'd love this shit. He tortured, raped. He'd love that shit too, apparently. Sodomized, probably love that too. He raped and tortured women on a regular basis for decades. And people who had power, people who had connections, people who have people who could, if you call 911, they're going to fucking pay attention. But the mental game of it is so overwhelming. So this is why when I get doubted by police or by anybody, it just really fucking pisses me off, because the courage it takes to fucking say something, like I didn't do anything the first times that I woke up with semen coming out of me. I didn't do anything. And a lot of that was the drug, that I was just so out of it and I couldn't even like think straight. But the bottom line is I knew what was happening. I know when I have sex with somebody without a condom what happens, which is cum comes out of me first thing in the morning. I can smell it. It comes out of me all day long because of gravity. So I knew what had happened, but I couldn't wrap my head around it because I couldn't remember anything. And my head was all fucking foggy from all the drugs. But a lot of it was the fact that I knew if I called that I wouldn't be fucking believed. That I wouldn't be believed. I wouldn't be No one would take me at my fucking word. And this is, like, to me, what has happened with that whole thing, I mean, they worked very, very hard to gaslight me, and I'm sure all of those women feared that happening to them. You know, because it's a fight. It's a fucking fight. And the worst part is that I literally am one of these kind of people that don't fucking lie barely ever. You know, like, do I sometimes lie? Yeah, sure, white lies, like, especially when I was younger. Oh, yeah, you don't look fat. Yeah, you know, that kind of shit, fine. But for big time stuff or even, like, normal everyday stuff, I'm pretty much a straight fucking shooter. And to the point where I've been called out on it numerous times in my life for being too honest, brutally honest. Like, I don't have to be that honest, you know? And so for somebody like me, because when you say that I'm crazy, I don't take that because I know I'm not, but I take it as you tell me I'm lying. And you don't believe what I'm saying because you're calling me a fucking liar. And liar, crazy, whatever you want to say, it's disempowering me and disbelieving something that it's taking a lot of fucking courage to put out there. You think this is fucking easy? You think it's fucking easy to fucking decide, oh, I'm going to just start putting this out here online and documenting it and trying to video people, and I know how it's going to look. I fucking know. I even had one lady, she said, you know, I looked at your YouTube thing and you really gotta, you know, when you talk to you in person, then, you know, you make sense, you're normal, but when you watch that shit online, it don't look good, you know, and I'm paraphrasing. She was much more eloquent than that, but, and I get it, but it's like, all I can do is what I can do. Like, I'm drugged right now. I've been gassed all night long. I'm looking at my animals. They're fucking suffering. You know, I'm still feeling the pain of being raped and sodomized. I don't know what happened last night. You know, she had me from probably about 12:30 till 4. And then she had me again from 7 till 10. You know, and you think, oh, it was light outside and there's people around. They don't care. No one gives a fuck. Like, you have no idea how, like, you know, and I'm 100% sure the camp host already knows what the fuck happened the first night I was here. And it's the same fucking camp host. So, you know, and why did I come back here? You want to say, well, then why would you go back there? Where else am I going to fucking go? The one up in your Astoria was fucking darker, and, you know, it was just more bushy and just more opportunities to do shit and have people not know. And if someone were to ever give a fuck. But this one's open, and, you know, it puts the park host in a position of having to cooperate, having to be put in that position. And I like making the syndicate put people in those positions, and then those people don't like it. Like when I went to an RV place and I was looking at the campers, and, you know, I wasn't even going to buy. The guy was like, come by, you know, just see how it is. And, like, he was super cool on the phone. I get there an hour later. They're, like, chasing me out. I'm the only customer there. They're supposed to be open for 2 more hours. They're, like, on the loudspeaker, like, we're closing now. Get out. And it's like, you know, and that's them. That's them contacting them. So what I did is I emailed them on their website, and I said, you know what? This is who you're helping. Just so you know, because you don't know. I know you don't know. I know they didn't come up to you and say, hey, you know what? This woman that was going to be maybe a customer of yours, maybe drop $30K at your place and buy a new camper, and, just fuck her over because, I mean, we've been raping, sodomizing, and torturing her, and we've killed her animals, and we've done all this shit. But you know what? We need to have this too. Like, they're not doing that. I don't know what they say. I think it depends on who they're talking to. That is gaslighting. That is organized crime. Organized crime guys are master manipulators. So, and also, Jack asked me what the hell is the Hawaiian Syndicate? It's organized crime. It's just a name. It's an old school name. I'm born and raised there, so I am, and I'm old. So that's the name that I know it as. They call it the company. I think the new guys want to be called something else. I don't know. But they're organized crime. They're the guys who traffic in drugs and sex traffic women into Hawaii, which is actually kind of a big thing for men to be bringing women to Hawaii. I mean, it's a good place to do it. There's a lot of tourists, there's a lot of business, but at the same time, the women get trapped. They're stuck on a fucking island, like 3,500 miles away from the mainland. So, It's just a very good opportunity to fucking trap women there, and it's a good sex trafficking thing. So yes, the Hawaiian syndicate, not one woman gets trafficked on that island without their say, and they're taking a price of it. The Hawaiians, not anybody else. They want to fucking, because they started using the Hells Angels and all those things to bring in the drugs and the Mexicans and all, you know, the cartel and all that shit. They're behind it all. Every penny goes into their pocket, you know? So, you know, no one is doing business there without their say. Nobody, without their approval, without their benefit. That's the Hawaiian syndicate, and businesses that destroy people. The Hawaiian syndicate are the unions, the stevedores union. They're all over. Hawaii is so corrupt. Just look it up, Jack. Kealoha, Chief Kealoha, Chief of Police, his wife, Catherine Kealoha, a city prosecutor now sitting in prison, who was apparently fucking a big-time drug trafficker, who's now sitting in also federal prison with the death penalty on the table. So, because he's a murderer and he likes to use chemical weapons. That's why I contact that federal prosecutor's office. This is not the only thing I do. This is not the only thing. I don't sit around and just make videos and drive around and try to save my vagina every day, you know? I contact the federal prosecutor's office, the people who prosecuted the Kealohas, the ones that are prosecuting Michael Miskey, because maybe they'd fucking care, because this is right up their fucking alley. And they should give a fuck. If they gave a fuck about those guys, this bitch who's coming into my fucking RV right now, who's been fucking raping me for almost 2 years, that bitch, she needs to get the needle way more than Michael Miskey. He's been a bully his whole life. She's been a fucking nutcase. I guarantee her whole fucking life. I guarantee she's constant. I guarantee she was the kid on the playground that was being cruel and mean to another kid. I know that. I can know that from what she does to me. She's sick. She needs to be dead. So that's the Hawaiian syndicate. And the Hawaiian sovereignty, which is supposed to be this like blah, 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 like, you know, we're in it for the Hawaiians, blah, blah, blah. Really? Then why do you make, along with the syndicate, and this is a faction, I'm sure there's factions of the sovereignty that don't, but why do you make money off of trafficking methamphetamine into your state that then you feed to your people, and then you want to say you're the Hawaiian sovereignty and drive around with your flags on your car and act like you give a fuck? No, they just want the land back so they can do what they want with it. And yeah, it was somewhat taken from them. The queen was overthrown. A lot of the land had already been sold by Hawaiians to other people. You got to check the history, but they stole that land from somebody else. Get that. They weren't the first people there. And they hate that I point that out. And they like to come up with this story now that, oh yeah, well when we came there, we made friends with the people that were there. And then we just got along with them, the aloha spirit. I have never, ever equated aloha spirit with the Hawaiians. In my experience, in my knowledge of their history against each other and their mass murdering each other, and the way they've acted since I've ever lived there, in general, nah, that doesn't fit. It doesn't fucking fit. You can't try to make yourself be an angel from above that was all nice and everything. That's not how the people are anyways when they come over and they conquer. They conquered somebody, then they got conquered. And all they do is fucking bitch and complain about it. And then on the side, they traffic women and children and drugs into the state. So, that's the syndicate. Look up the sovereignty. You know, they're enemies of the United States, and that's what's so funny about having all these like people driving around me with their American flags and their white supremacist shit. I got black people, I got white supremacists, I got fucking Hawaiians. Yesterday I had Native American guy in a fucking white Cadillac. It's like they don't operate off of morals or ethics, but yet they'll use those things to try to get people to fuck me over. And that's their... You want to know what organized crime is? From my experience, they're master manipulators. And then everything else comes after that. The drugs, the sex trafficking. But first and foremost, they're fucking manipulators. They know how to read people. They know what to say to people. They know how to get what they want from people. And at the end of the day, if they can't use everything else, they'll just fucking threaten you. They got everything in their pocket. That's the Hawaiian syndicate.